player. Big-time bat speed, big-time power. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season.
One of the best hitters in the American League.
And it's gone! Another home run in this game for Bo Bichette.
Bichette, yet another extra base hit.
What a play by Bo Bichette.
That's his 44th double of the year, leading the majors.
Bichette rips the first pitch.
In a great year offensively. Bo has such a dynamic swing. He can
He was certain that he was going to be an option.
Yeah, we were certain he was going to be an option at that point. Once he went out for catch play, he said, hey, I feel really good. I feel like I did yesterday when I ended the game. I feel really good. The day before in the game 6. I feel really good. So we knew it was going to be an option for some of
The baseball world just got rocked by the most explosive leak of the offseason, and if you're a Dodgers fan, you need to hear this immediately. Behind closed doors in Los Angeles, Andrew Friedman and his front office won't be playing shortstop at all. The plan is to move him to second base, and the reason why is sitting at shortstop wearing number 50, Mookie Betts. Now, before you start losing your minds thinking this is some crazy fantasy scenario, let's talk about why this actually makes perfect sense from every possible angle. Mookie Betts found something special at shortstop last season. After transitioning from the outfield and second base earlier in his career, he discovered that shortstop suited his skill set perfectly. His defensive metrics were genuinely elite, placing him among the top percentiles in Major League Baseball for fielding at the position. Sure, his arm isn't the strongest you'll ever see at short, but his incredible range and lightning-quick release more than compensate. He gets to balls that other shortstops miss, and he gets rid of it fast enough that arm strength becomes irrelevant. The Dodgers aren't about to mess with success. When you find a future Hall of Famer thriving at a premium defensive position, you don't just yank him out because another star becomes available. You get creative. You find solutions. You make it work. And that's exactly what this leaked plan reveals they're prepared to do. Bo Bichette at second base isn't some random idea pulled out of thin air either. During the World Series, when a lingering knee injury limited his mobility, Bichette played second base for the first time in his major league career. And you know what? He looked pretty good out there. The smaller range requirements of second base actually masked some of his defensive limitations. Because here's the uncomfortable truth that every scouting report will tell you. Bo Bichette is not an elite defender at shortstop. His StatCast data shows he ranks in the bottom 1% for range among fielders. Translation? He struggles to get to balls that top-tier shortstops handle routinely. But here's the beautiful part of this equation. Nobody is signing Bo Bichette for his glove work. They're signing him for his bat, and that bat is absolutely magnificent. His batting average ranks in the 99th percentile. He brings legitimate power. He's a consistent run producer. He's the kind of offensive weapon that transforms a good lineup into a great one. When you're paying someone $23.3 million annually over 8 years, you're paying for offensive production. And that's exactly what Bichette delivers in spades. The leaked positional chart reveals exactly how the Dodgers envision this dream infield coming together. Freddie Freeman remains the rock at first base, providing his consistent excellence both offensively and defensively. Bo Bichette would slide into second base, giving them that elite bat they desperately need at the position. Mookie Betts stays at shortstop where he's thriving. Max Muncy rotates at third base, managing his playing time while still contributing his power stroke. This isn't just a good infield. This is potentially one of the most offensively explosive infields ever assembled in baseball history. Tommy Edman adds incredible depth as a utility player who can fill in across multiple positions. If Miguel Rojas returns as expected, he provides another veteran option. Andy Pages and the rest of the outfield rotation give them flexibility if they need to shift pieces around. Every angle has been considered. Every scenario has been mapped out. This is the Andrew Friedman special. Meticulous planning meets aggressive execution meets unlimited financial resources. But let's address the elephant in the room, because this is the question that everyone's asking. What if Bo Bichette refuses to play second base? What if he demands to stay at shortstop as a condition of any deal? This is where the Dodgers' flexibility becomes their secret weapon. Mookie Betts has an extensive history playing both outfield positions and second base at elite levels. He's proven he can excel wherever you put him. More importantly, he's the ultimate team player who prioritizes winning championships above personal preferences. Would the Dodgers ask Mookie to move if it meant landing Bo Bichette? That's the million-dollar question that nobody outside that front office can answer definitively. But here's what we do know. They absolutely would have that conversation. This organization doesn't make decisions based on ego or stubbornness. They make decisions based on what gives them the best chance to win championships. If keeping Mookie at short means losing Bichette to a competitor, and if moving Mookie back to second or the outfield means landing Bichette, you can bet they'll explore every option. The most realistic scenario, according to sources familiar with the discussions, is that Bichette would accept the move to second base. Why? Because the opportunity to play for a perennial World Series contender in one of baseball's biggest markets with unlimited resources and a track record of championship success is worth a positional adjustment. Plus, as his World Series appearance at second base demonstrated, he's capable of making the transition. The knee injury that limited him during that series has healed, meaning his mobility should be even better going forward. Here's where the plot thickens even further. The Toronto Blue Jays just committed massive money to Dylan Cease, which raises serious questions about their ability to match whatever offer the Dodgers might throw at Bichette. Can they afford to go 7 or 8 years at over $20 million per season for their franchise shortstop after just locking up a starting pitcher to a huge deal? Financially, yes, they probably can, but will they? That's a completely different question. Recent reports indicate that Toronto has started exploring alternative options, and the name generating the most buzz is Marte from the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks have openly signaled they're willing to move Marte, and both the Blue Jays and Philadelphia Phillies have already initiated conversations. This development is absolutely massive for the Dodgers' chances of landing Bichette. If Toronto pivots toward Marte as their primary target, it essentially removes the biggest competition for Bichette's services. Let's talk about Marte for a moment, because this alternative target deserves serious consideration. His .291 batting average last season demonstrates elite contact skills. His power numbers are impressive. He ranks among the top percentiles in batting average, just like Bichette. But here's the key difference. Marte is a significantly better defender at second base than Bichette is at shortstop. His defensive metrics are solid across the board. He provides similar offensive production with superior defensive value. So why wouldn't the Dodgers just pivot to Marte if he's available at potentially lower cost? Because star power matters in Los Angeles. Bichette brings name recognition and narrative. He's only 26 years old compared to Marte's 31, meaning you're buying more prime years. He's got that young superstar aura that translates to jersey sales and fan excitement. And most importantly, the Dodgers have never been an organization that settles for the value option when the premium option is available. When you have unlimited financial resources like they do, you don't pinch pennies, you get the player you actually want. The leaked plans suggest that the Dodgers view their bullpen as their most pressing need, and they'll likely address that first before making a major move for an infielder. There are plenty of quality relievers available on the market, and Los Angeles has already been connected to several of them. But once they shore up the bullpen, turning their attention to the infield becomes the obvious next priority. Second base has been a revolving door of adequate but unspectacular options for too long. Adding a legitimate star transforms everything. Think about the lineup protection this creates. Right now, pitchers can work around Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts to some degree by being careful with them and taking their chances with whoever's hitting behind them. Add Bo Bichette to that mix, and suddenly there's nowhere to hide. You've got 3 elite hitters in a row, and that doesn't even account for whoever's hitting cleanup and the rest of the order. The depth becomes suffocating for opposing pitchers. There are no easy outs, no free passes. Every batter in that lineup is dangerous. The financial side of this potential deal is fascinating to examine. The projected contract for Bichette hovers somewhere in that 8-year, $185 million range, which breaks down to about $23.3 million per season. For most organizations, that's a franchise-altering commitment that requires serious budget gymnastics. For the Dodgers, it's just another Tuesday. They've consistently operated with one of the highest payrolls in baseball, and they've shown zero hesitation about spending whatever it takes to maintain their championship window. Several contracts are coming off their books over the next couple of years, which provides even more financial flexibility. This isn't the kind of move that handcuffs future roster construction. It's the kind of move that capitalizes on having Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and the rest of the core still in their prime years. Championship windows don't stay open forever. When you have the opportunity to add elite talent that makes you better immediately, you take it. There's also the psychological warfare element that shouldn't be underestimated. If the Dodgers successfully steal Bo Bichette from the Blue Jays, it sends a message to every other organization in baseball. We're still the apex predator in this ecosystem. It demonstrates to future free agents that Los Angeles remains the destination for players who want to win championships while getting paid top dollar in one of the world's most glamorous cities. That reputation matters when you're competing for talent year after year. The timing of when this move might happen is crucial. Free agency operates on momentum and fear of missing out. If the Dodgers wait too long, another team could swoop in with a competitive offer. If Toronto gets their act together and decides they absolutely cannot lose Bichette, they could make a Godfather offer that becomes difficult to turn down. But if Los Angeles strikes quickly, before Toronto fully commits one way or the other, they dramatically increase their chances of landing their target. Every indication suggests that Friedman and his staff have been working on this strategy for months. They've scouted Bichette extensively at second base. They've had preliminary conversations with Mookie about positional flexibility just in case. They've run financial projections dozens of times. They've evaluated alternatives like Marte. And they've concluded that Bichette represents the optimal target for maximizing their championship probability over the next several years. The domino effect that Dylan Cease's signing triggered is still rippling through the league. That was just the beginning. The next major move is coming soon, and all signs point to the Dodgers being the team that makes it happen. Whether it's Bo Bichette or Ketel Marte or some surprise target nobody saw coming, Los Angeles is preparing to make waves. The leaked plans give us a glimpse into their thinking, but the final execution could look slightly different depending on how negotiations unfold. What makes this situation so compelling is that multiple teams hold leverage in different ways. Bichette can influence his destination by being selective about which offers he seriously considers. The Dodgers can use their championship pedigree and financial might to overwhelm competitors. Toronto can make a last-gasp effort to retain their franchise player. Arizona can set whatever price they want for Marte and potentially trigger a bidding war. It's a multi-layered negotiation happening simultaneously on several fronts. For Dodgers fans, the excitement is reaching fever pitch levels. The possibility of adding another elite bat to an already loaded roster feels almost unfair to the rest of the league. Imagine walking into Chavez Ravine next April and watching Freddie Freeman, Bo Bichette, Mookie Betts, and Max Muncy taking infield practice together. That's not just a championship-caliber infield, that's a collection of talent that could define an entire era of Dodgers baseball. The defensive alignment, while not perfect, would be significantly more stable with clearly defined roles for everyone. Bichette's defensive limitations become less problematic at second base. Mookie continues thriving at shortstop. Freeman remains steady at first. Muncy provides veteran presence at third. The entire infield unit becomes more cohesive simply by putting everyone in positions that maximize their strengths while minimizing their weaknesses. One interesting wrinkle that hasn't been discussed enough is what this means for the rest of the roster construction. If the Dodgers commit big money to Bichette, does that impact their ability to extend other players down the line? Does it affect how aggressive they can be addressing the bullpen? Does it change their approach to the outfield situation? These are all interconnected decisions that front offices have to weigh when making major acquisitions. The answer, at least for an organization with the Dodgers' resources, is that you don't let future concerns prevent you from maximizing the present. You have a window right now with this core group of players. You have financial flexibility even after making a major signing. You have organizational depth to absorb whatever ripple effects occur. You make the move that makes you better today and trust that you'll figure out tomorrow when tomorrow arrives. Ketel Marte continues looming as the wild card in all of this. If the Dodgers decide he represents better value, or if the Bichette negotiations stall, pivoting to Marte makes plenty of sense. He's a proven commodity who fills the same need. His age is a slight concern compared to Bichette's youth, but his superior defense might offset that. The acquisition cost in terms of prospects or players could end up being significantly lower than the financial commitment required for Bichette in free agency. But here's why Bichette remains the overwhelming favorite. The Dodgers don't think like a small market team trying to extract maximum value from every transaction. They think like an organization that understands star power and championship windows. When you can afford the premium option, you take it. When you have a chance to add a 26-year-old all-star entering his prime, you don't settle for the 31-year-old alternative just to save some money. The next 2 to 3 weeks will be absolutely critical in determining how this unfolds. Agents will be working phones around the clock. General managers will be flying to meet with players face-to-face. Offers will be made and countered. Deadlines will be set and extended. And somewhere in all that chaos, the Dodgers will make their move. Whether it's the blockbuster Bichette signing, or a pivot to Marte, or something completely unexpected, change is coming. What we know for certain is that Andrew Friedman didn't build a dynasty by standing pat and hoping things work out. He's aggressive. He's strategic. He's willing to take calculated risks when the potential reward justifies it. Adding Bo Bichette to this roster is exactly the kind of calculated risk that has defined his tenure in Los Angeles. The leaked plans suggest they've thought through every angle, prepared for every contingency, and positioned themselves to strike when the moment is right. So, where does this leave us as we wait for the next shoe to drop? It leaves us with more questions than answers, but that's what makes this so exciting. Will Bichette actually agree to play second base, or will he demand to stay at shortstop? Would Mookie be willing to move if it came to that? Will Toronto make a desperate last-minute push to keep their franchise player? Does Ketel Marte emerge as the surprise target who makes everyone forget about Bichette? We don't have definitive answers yet, but we're about to find out. The leaked Dodgers master plan gives us the blueprint. Now we get to watch them try to execute it. And if history tells us anything about this organization, it's that when Andrew Friedman sets his sights on a target, he usually finds a way to get it done. Bo Bichette in Dodger Blue is no longer just speculation or wishful thinking. It's a legitimate possibility, backed by reported interest, leaked strategic plans, and the financial resources to make it happen. All right, now it's your turn to weigh in on this. Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you want the Dodgers to go all in on Bo Bichette, or would you prefer they pivot to Ketel Marte? If they land Bichette, do you keep him at second base or try to work out some other arrangement? And where do you think Mookie Betts ultimately ends up playing if this all goes down? I want to hear your thoughts, your theories, your hot takes on how this infield should look. If you're as fired up about this as I am, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're going to be covering every single development in this story as it breaks. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates when the Dodgers finally make their move. We've got daily videos coming covering every signing, every rumor, every insider report that impacts this team. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, do me a favor and comment "Go Dodgers" down below so I know you're here and you're ready for what's about to be an absolutely insane offseason. This is just the beginning, folks. The dominoes are falling, the chess pieces are moving, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are about to make their next championship push. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. The baseball world is about to explode, and the Philadelphia Phillies find themselves standing at the epicenter of what could be the most devastating off-season earthquake in franchise history. While fans are still nursing their wounds from another playoff disappointment, a dangerous predator has emerged from the shadows of the American League East, ready to rip the very heart out of Citizens Bank Park. The Boston Red Sox, flush with cash and desperate to reclaim their throne, have set their sights on not one, but two of Philadelphia's most beloved stars, and what happens next could determine whether the Phillies remain championship contenders or collapse into irrelevance.